You're listening to The Signal Daily. Hi, I'm Shorbari, your host for The Signal Daily podcast. This is the episode for 1st July 2024. Today we talk about the disastrous presidential debate between the incumbent US President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump that has been making all the headlines. And for the main segment, what's the big deal with India making its debut on JP Morgan Emerging Market Bonds Index? Stay tuned till the end of this episode. Whether you're invested in US politics or not, I'm sure you have watched the first presidential debate of the country's election season hosted by CNN for pure entertainment value, if nothing else. Even 2 days later, the shock is not wearing off. I mean, what a total mess. This is the stage where candidates are supposed to impress voters with their political spiel, but there's no way to decide who's performed worse. On the one hand, former President and Republican nominee Donald Trump was back with his usual style of making unsubstantiated claims, outrageous remarks, and false statements. Also, do remember that Trump has become the first former president to be convicted of 34 charges of felony. But on the other hand, Democrat nominee and current President Joe Biden was at his incoherent, mumbly best. In fact, his feeble and appalling performance against Trump has been making headlines the entire weekend, and it has plunged the Democrat Party into a nervous frenzy. At 81, Joe Biden is the oldest presidential candidate. Since the beginning of his ongoing term when he was 78, there have been serious questions about whether he is fit to pull off a presidency. That essentially is his biggest vulnerability, and in this debate, Biden's job was to put to rest all questions about his age and capabilities. Far from it, his performance has sowed dissonance in his party. As reports suggest, there are some serious discussions happening behind closed doors, with many party members wondering if the incumbent president should be replaced as the Democrat candidate. But can he be replaced? That might be tougher than it seems. Should he step aside, there will be newer nominations, and it could be anybody, but everybody's guess is that Vice President Kamala Harris is likely to be a strong contender. All this is going to be complicated, but that is the best case scenario. But can Biden be forced out? Well, that is seeming highly unlikely because he won the nomination with his party members' support. Besides, it doesn't seem like Biden wants to give up his presidential bid at all. He did acknowledge his weak performance, but since then, he has gone off on a series of fundraising events to drum up confidence around his candidature. Still, there could be some room for surprises. I mean, sure, this debate has given us some premium meme content, but it's a serious matter since the US occupies a central role in global geopolitics. So it is of huge concern who is helming the foreign policy of the country. Remember that currently the US is involved in 2 ongoing wars in Ukraine and Gaza, while also tugging the strings in the APAC region to curtail China's growth. And so it's not just Americans. Much of the world is also invested in the upcoming presidential polls. And now for our second segment, we are going to bring you deep dives on stories from the world of technology, business, policy, and anything that leaves you with food for thought. This was a long time coming. Last Friday, JP Morgan finally added India in its widely tracked emerging market bond index. Look around. The euphoria around the development is palpable, not least because it took no less than a decade for India's inclusion. As they say never. The bank is now expecting $20 billion to $25 billion of global flows to make its way into India's trillion-dollar sovereign debt market. And that, dear listeners, is good news. In fact, it's great news. If you're confused, don't worry, we'll break this down for you. So we'll talk about 3 things. Number 1, why JP Morgan's Emerging Market Bond Index matters. Number 2, why did it take so long for India to get listed in the index? And number 3, what does India stand to get out of it? So let's dive right in. The JP Morgan indexes are popular among deep-pocketed investors in developed countries. This particular index was formed in the early 1990s. Think of it as a guiding light for investors who want to invest money in the debt markets of developing countries. Now, its importance can be gauged from the fact that even before India was formally included in the index, the anticipation drove India's bond market to become a magnet for global investors. Bloomberg reports that global funds have brought about $10 billion of Indian government bonds since index inclusion was announced in September last year. By the way, discussions to include India in the JP Morgan index had started a decade ago. Raghuram Rajan, the former governor of RBI, had brought it up during his tenure. But at that time, Indian policymakers were reluctant to open India's debt market to foreign investors. And they had their reasons, which we'll discuss in a while. But the discussions then propped up again in 2020, partly thanks to the pandemic, as the Indian government needed more money to fund its pandemic spending. But there was a teeny tiny problem. So foreign investors were demanding tax breaks, but the Indian government was adamant in its stance that in no circumstance is it waiving capital gains tax. We had what we call a stalemate, and India, unlike China, refused to bend. What eventually worked in India's favor is the post-pandemic world order. China's economy grew sluggish, and in the aftermath of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Russia became uninvestable. So JP Morgan relenting despite India refusing to tinker with its tax policy could be a result of the bank wanting to fill the Russia-sized hole in the index. Well, whatever greased the wheels, it makes India's inclusion in the emerging market debt index all the more special. Not only India will see a flush of foreign funds in its debt market, but also on its own terms and conditions. But now, the last question. So we are all gaga about it, but what's the end game here? So you know how governments need money to do all the stuff that they do? Well, they borrow those funds from the market and in exchange issue debt bonds. Government bonds are considered a very safe option, as more likely than not the government is not going to flank on its debt. But now with the inclusion of India's bonds in the JP Morgan index, a great many foreign investors are also going to buy these bonds, which means domestic lenders will have more money and space to lend to businesses and corporations. That's kind of a big deal because here on, Indian corporates are going to find it cheaper to raise funds. Or at least that's the expectation. If you like listening to the Signal Daily, please show some support. Rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We'd love to hear what you have to say about this podcast. So feel free to shoot an email at hello@thesignal.co. This episode was researched, written and produced by me, Shorbari, and Anoop Sembwal. Edited by Roshni Nair. Mastered and mixed by Yash Hirve. You can catch this podcast every morning on Spotify, Apple, Amazon Prime Music, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are thesignal.co on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.